Thanks for staying with us right here on Morning at NTV. 200 million and something, 128,000 cases of COVID-19 have been registered on the international scene. Before you leave your humble abode, ensure that you are wearing a face mask. I still want you to be watching Morning at NTV and getting acquainted with the latest information. Don't be part of the statistics. Don't be part of the 2,734 people who have succumbed. Don't be part of the 4.2 million people who have succumbed on the global stage. Just ensure that you keep yourself and your family members actually safe. When you talk about protection, it's not only contracting COVID-19. When you're in a lockdown, you're unable to take care of your family. That's why we say it's important to protect yourself, because you're also protecting the livelihoods of the people you left back at home. Why not talk about the Huawei ICT competition and so forth? They are actually offering free skills and certification to university students. But there's a nick. How are they doing it now that schools are largely closed online? If they are using online ventures, what about those in the rural areas? How are they penetrating them? We do know that there's low internet penetration within the rural areas. So all those modalities and challenges, how is Huawei circumventing them? We do have the PRO manager, and that is Alan Chobe from Huawei. Very good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Just simply give us a brief background of where this began.
All right. Before I even go to that part of the ICT competition
Indeed.
and the academy, briefly let me tell you about who is Huawei.
Indeed.
Huawei is a leading global provider of ICT infrastructure and smart devices. We employ over 190,000 employees globally, and then also we operate in over 170 countries.
170 countries.
And regions of the world. And in Uganda, we began 14 years ago, and we are penetrating so fast. We have various partnerships with telecom operators, and we've seen connections develop in Uganda from LTE, 4G, actually from 2G, 3G, and LTE. So all that Huawei has been behind. Huawei has been behind
facial recognition
Yes.
systems with the government. We won't go into that, but go ahead.
But then not only that,
Yes, Alan.
there are also other things like charging systems. Actually, most of the services you operate on your phone, we are the people behind that. Yes, so we don't show face, but we are really pushing and doing great for the ICT industry. We've also done various projects with the government, like the National Backbone Infrastructure that is promoting e-government, now e-commerce. Now in a period like this, that is where we need such kind of services. Now, let me jump to the Huawei ICT Academy.
Indeed.
You know, the digital era is fast approaching.
Because of COVID-19 and so forth.
Well,
Adapting to the new normal.
yes, but the digital era is fast approaching. Whether
Indeed.
COVID-19 was there or not, it was fast approaching.
But the compelling factor being COVID-19 now.
Yes.
Because schools are largely closed. How else will you study?
Yes.
The internet. Go
Yes.
ahead, Alan.
And we think that in this new digital era, the world will be fully connected and intelligent, where we have all things connected, all things sensing, and all things intelligent.
Indeed.
And because of that, there is a need to build a healthy ecosystem
Indeed.
in the ICT industry. And we think that in the next coming 10 years, there's going to be a global shortage of 7 million ICT professionals. So that's the need for us to come up with a talent ecosystem of ICT. And in there, we have packages like the ICT Academy and ICT competition, and even there's a product called Seeds for the Future. In here, in the ICT Academy is a partnership with academia that is not for profit. And here we bring free certifications and training to the students of Uganda, and even generally to the whole world. We are working with over 1,000 universities globally, and here in Uganda, we have established a working relationship of 15 universities. Already we have certified 1,600 students. This year alone we have certified 500, but we started 2019 with a partnership with Makere, and then we went on signing up other universities.
Indeed.
And this not only in Kampala, but even in upcountry. There is Moni, that is Arua, there is Gulu, Kabale, UCU, Uganda Matters University, and so many of those. And we hope to reach out to many more, those who open up doors. This is free of charge. It's not for profit. Between Huawei and universities.
You're just trying to avert a crisis where we do miss out on some 7 million ICT professionals.
Yes.
And you feel like you are the stakeholders who should be at the forefront
Yes.
of making sure that this doesn't happen.
Yes.
That's why you're offering free services,
Yes.
like skilling of our students in ICT.
Yes.
But go ahead and also expand more on this fact. These students are largely at home. Schools are closed. So how are you reaching them, especially those in the far-flung areas like Masaka?
All right. We have an online platform called the Huawei e-learning platform. And in here, students are supposed to sign up. And when they sign up, they get access to learning material. Actually, let me just go back a little bit. When we come to a university, when you approach a university, we sign an MOU, teach their teachers, who in turn teach their students.
You train the professional
Yes.
teacher, lecturer, then who in turn passes on the skills to the learner.
Yes.
So you're retooling these lecturers.
Yes, actually, we are in. This is in line with Uganda's ICT 2040 vision
Amazing work you're doing.
of rebuilding and retooling the ICT talent building mechanism. Where in there we are helping them adopt to the industry related skills and the certifications globally.
The idea is that they could have had some redundant skills that were outdated. So now you are retooling them with new skills that they can pass on to our students so that they could be competitive in the new labor market.
That is part of the idea.
Wise. What is the other part?
The other and most important bit is that
Yes,
when students are in the university, they give them a cocktail of so many things. Yet when they get to the job market,
No
the
specialization.
job market is requiring a certain specialization.
I see.
You understand? So, for example, if somebody comes to Huawei to get a job,
Yes.
we will need to certify them in a specific technology, a network, storage, AI. Yet it's not something they have mastered. And
They've mastered one of everything.
Yes, in the university.
Of course, that is the education system right here, Alan.
For us to shortage, to save time and money, we have decided to bring all these certifications to the universities free of charge. So as a student is doing their normal degree, there's also a certification. So the time he goes out of the university, he is ready to be employed.
Alan Chobe, have you explored the idea of actually engaging the Ministry of Education to inculcate some of these formulas or curriculum within their system or overall national curriculum so that all these skills are passed on to all the students within this country and not just the particular universities that you are targeting?
Yes, we have approached the Minister of Education.
Amazing.
And even the Minister of ICT. We are doing this together. It's not only Huawei, but we are doing this together. Actually, they have helped us and opened a door for us to all the universities of Uganda. And when we launched the ICT Academy in 2019, the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Education was available to launch it officially. So we are in touch with the Ministry of Education, with the Minister of ICT. And so that's how the ICT Academy is.
So go through to the other topic of penetration. How are you penetrating and reaching out to those in the rural areas, in the far-flung areas, keeping in mind that there's low penetration of the internet?
Like you see, Huawei has been at the forefront of the national backbone infrastructure.
Indeed.
That is the internet, reaching out to several parts of Uganda with NITA, that is the NBI and e-government.
Indeed.
So because of that, we most of these ICT institutions are connected to the national backbone infrastructure, and so there is internet there in most of the parts that we are reaching to, and government universities and even private universities. But just something to note is that you see, COVID-19 has showed us something, that we don't only need to be physical, but we need to be online. So we just shifted our mode of teaching to make it online.
Right.
So teachers teach through Zoom, and even exams are done through Zoom, but through our system, examination system. So we invigilate the students through Zoom. And it has really worked out, and I hope it's a model.
So right now, in my humble abode, in my home somewhere in Nelson, I could do an exam.
Yes.
Issues to do with malpractice. How do you know that I'm not cheating?
We set some guidelines for students to follow, and there's an invigilator seated full-time. You're not supposed to look away from the screen. You're not supposed to get up. You're not supposed to pick a phone call. And actually, if you open another tab that is not your examination, yes, it closes itself and it submits.
Wise.
So you can either fail or pass. So you need to be disciplined and stay on your examination. Don't look elsewhere. So if we go and review the video and there was somebody who was looking elsewhere or answering the phone call, that exam is nullified.
I see. So at this moment, you've partnered with Kampala International University, KIU. Why KIU at this opportune moment? We would like to know.
Well, KIU is one of the one of the universities.
Yes, Alan.
We've not only partnered with KIU, but so far we've partnered with 15 universities of Uganda and in the different regions of Uganda. So KIU is part. So recently we signed a partnership for them to get on board. And we believe that it will be successful, and we believe that all their campuses, because they also have campuses in other regions of Uganda, so we believe that we shall reach most of those students in the western and central. So it's just one of the universities, but we have several universities.
When you talk to some of these university students, what are some of the challenges that they, divulge to you as some of those that they grapple with on a daily basis and are hindering their ability to learn more in the ICT sector?
Well, Uganda is the curriculum for ICT. We are doing well, and I would like to give thanks to the universities, IT departments of the various universities. But like I said in the beginning, that the job market or the industry is looking for specialized professionals. That is why you see that when they leave the schools, they will have to go back and be certified to be able to be employed in all the ICT.
To get the experience.
To get not even experience, but to be certified. Here in Huawei, Uganda, it's not about actually your working experience. It's about your knowledge and skill and certification. That's why we, personally, when I joined Huawei in 2013, I came as an intern.
8 years ago. Nice.
An intern. That is the same with even most of the people we have there came as interns, and then we skilled them, and then now we let them be employed in most of those. In the we have engineers, but they came as interns.
Indeed.
So that's the beauty about Huawei, and that's the mode that we also encourage our partners to take on. It's not about experience, but the skills that you have. Yes.
All right. Now, besides that the fact that they are grappling with an outdated curriculum, what other issues or challenges are these students divulging to you?
Just to correct you a little bit, it's not outdated. It's up to date.
It's not corresponding with the latest demands of the
It's
labor
corresponding,
market.
but we need specific. If you've done software engineering, yes, thank you. But
where exactly are you
Where exactly are you?
specialized?
There is storage, there is WLAN, there is datacom, there is data storage. Where are you? That's where we skill you and give you the job in that specified area.
That's why we say it's outdated, Mr. Alan Chobe. Now, you're also investing someone $50 million for ICT digital talent development and scaling. Tell me about that.
Yes, this year we have invested $150 million for digital ICT skills transfer, and this has been through programs like ICT competition,
Yes.
Seats for the Future, and Huawei ICT Academy itself. And this is not only in Uganda, but various countries and parts of the world. Maybe later on I'll talk about the ICT competition and tell you how we are investing, but maybe Seats for the Future, this is a program where we take 10 students every year to China. And this has not been done in Uganda, but all the countries where we have operations for hands-on training. They visit Beijing.
So you get different students from various universities
Yes.
all over the world,
Yes.
put them in one pool somewhere in Beijing,
Yes.
where they get to be retooled with some good ICT
Yes,
skills.
Beijing and Shenzhen.
I see.
Yes.
I think we did do something morning at NTV here when you
Yes.
took the first batch
Yes.
early this year.
Yes.
Go ahead, an update on that.
What we do there is
Yes.
that in the first week, the 2 weeks of training, we even teach them Chinese language, Chinese culture, and then the second week is now the real hands-on ICT training. We take them around our exhibition centers to show them how we do work here. So it's more of a exposure and for students to get an open mind about everything out there. And in the last 2 years, that's 2020 and 2019, because 2020 and 2021, because of COVID-19, it has been online. But the years before, we've been taking students, so it has been online. And even this year, we are reaching out to universities to give us their students.
So that is it for the future, exposing our learners to what is being done in other countries, so that we can, verify what we are doing now vis-a-vis what is being done on the other end, so that we can catch up. Thank you very much for what you're doing at the Huawei. But then what about the ICT competition? What is entailed within this venture?
The ICT competition
Yes, Alan.
is a talent exchange program for all for students globally, and in here, Huawei opens up its learning platforms, and the students get when they sign up for this competition.
Yes.
They get exposed to simulation tools, to live classes, to recorded classes of the various courses that they would want to take, and this is in 2 tracks. Network track and a cloud track. And a network track, we have teams that sign up. Actually, even before we go there, Team Uganda took first position globally last year. First position out of 100 countries and 100 teams and 33 countries.
Yes.
So we've come back this time to encourage the teams to come up and take on the ICT competition. It's in 3 stages. That's the national stage, which is the Uganda final, the regional stage, which is the Africa final. We took first position even Africa stage, and then the global stage. So what we want the students out there is to log on, go to our platforms, sign up, get exposed, do the teachers to teach them right now as they're in the lockdown, and then they will do the examinations. So we are going to be teaching them and make sure that they are ready for the competition.
What are some of those challenges, Alan Chobe, that have made it impossible for the digital ICT sector to actually kick off in Uganda?
Uganda is on. I will not say that.
Let's talk about the challenges and we talk about what should be done.
Okay.
The gaps.
Uganda is not failing. We are on the path. We're on a steady path.
Steady progress. Go ahead.
We're on a steady path to where we need to be. But we need to first see what is coming in the future, so that we so that we don't be caught off guard.
So if we haven't seen what is coming in the future, it means we are moving in the wrong direction with the blindfold on our faces. The curriculum is really important. I think that's what you're trying to allude to.
The curriculum is really important.
The direction we need.
Because you see, right now, in the coming 10 years, the normal jobs we have, the office jobs, administrative jobs, will start to phase out because of the new technologies like artificial intelligence, big data, that cloud.
Fourth industrial revolution is
is here. So
a job that was being done by 40,000 people will now be done with one computer.
Yes.
That's how bad it is.
So we need to first see what is coming and get ready. But you see, even then, even if the fourth industrial revolution is here, we are still relevant.
That's what I've heard.
We are still relevant.
And
as long as
more professionals.
As long as we skill and be certified and be ready in those technologies, as long as we skill, we are relevant. But if we don't skill up, then we shall not be relevant in the future.
Given the shortfall that we've actually registered when it comes to the number of professionals in the ICT sector, you've also given us a projection of 7 million shortfalls within the next couple of years if we do not avert this looming situation. Now, in a bid to acquaint these learners with the requisite skills that they need over a longer period, don't you think we should be targeting them from primary 1? Yes, when they are still young. In that, when I finish my primary 7, I'm very good. I could at least operate Excel. I could at least operate my email as a 13-year-old in primary 7. Don't you think we should be targeting them at the young age instead of getting them at the university when time seems to be running out and they are, trying to catch up?
Actually, I give thanks to certain companies that have come up to teach coding.
Coding is really important.
To even the young.
It's happening in the US.
Yes. So what you're talking about is really pertinent and important. We will need to start to train and let our children to start to learn these things early enough and early enough, so that by the time they get to the university, they are somewhere, they have a skill that even if they are not employed as an office something, administrative something, they have the skill to do something and create their own jobs. And that's where we are also heading to, even as a company. That's where we are heading to. Right now, we are targeting university, lowest being a senior 6 leaver, because because now those ones are mature enough to learn a skill. But before, unless we go back to that part whereby we start from the primary. But right now, the primary, people are not mature enough. We are still grappling with a curriculum that is, you study so many subjects, which are important. But there is a need for...
Of course, that is the blindfold. We are talking about moving in the wrong direction. The curriculum needs to be tweaked. Ministry of ICT should work with the Ministry of Education to ensure that our learners get these skill sets from a very, very young age. By the time I finish primary 7, at the age of 14 or 13, I should be able to at least operate an email, send and receive. I could do that. But then it was because of self-studying. I didn't learn it in a school. Yes, I learned it on my own, how to operate Excel, how to operate a computer at the age of 13 or 14. So if our learners got all these skills, they could be able to specialize with a particular skill, not learning one of everything because they started learning the particular ICT skills at a later stage or when it was actually very late. So that's one of the recommendations I gave Alan Chobe on what needs to be done to actually ensure that we develop the ICT sector, ensuring that the learners are targeted from a younger age. Now, from your own perspective, what else needs to be done to ensure that the future is bright for ICT?
Like I've mentioned before, we need to really invest in digital skilling. I've mentioned it.
What about the infrastructure?
Well,
the internet infrastructure.
The internet infrastructure is not really the responsibility of the normal layman. It's really now the government to come up and quickly build the infrastructure. Yes. Yeah, it's up to the government to quickly come up and build the infrastructure that is needed, and which they're already doing so through the national backbone infrastructure. Here, that's why you see we have the e-government, e-commerce, e-passport. The government is already doing that, and even e-health. Recently, in 2020. We launched the 4th phase of the national backbone infrastructure in Nebi, Arua, Pakwach, that northern. So all we need to do is the government needs to really quickly and upgrade the ICT infrastructure that will help ICT generally to rise.
Alan Chobe, morning at NTV, prides in the fact that we do not beat around the bush. Should we scrap the 12% tax on data before I let you go?
As Alan Chobe, the Public Relations Office of Huawei, I think now that's a government policy.
But it's suffocating you. Should we remove it?
Of course it is suffocating us. But I think now that's government to determine. It is suffocating not only...
and the learners too.
The learners, everybody. But that's a government policy that they need to decide.
All right, thank you very much. Alan Chobe, PRO manager of Huawei, thank you very much for having made the time to speak to Morning at NTV. You're doing the most with our university students, but we should be targeting the younger learners. Thank you very much.
All right.
And of course, Morning at NTV would like to call on the legislators to scrap the 12% data. Like I said, we take pride in the fact that we do not beat around the bush. This tax on data is actually killing our students. If we are telling them to get onto the internet and we have this data, it makes it impossible for them to do the same. So please, the double standards are really rife in this country. Let's now head over to Koboko and talk to my dear gentleman, that is Mr. Rashul Adidi. He's going to be giving us information on the brewing situation, a contentious, simmering situation within